Better be in landscape mode this time. You know, streaming on a phone isn't all it's cracked up to be. Okay, from that opening sting in 5/4, the ba 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 ba. You know that you're in for a fun time, even if it's not the most spy movie you've ever seen. If you want to see a cat at the beginning here, here's a cat. This is my son. Not much of a tier list right now, but look at him. I should give him a snack. He was so good there. He just stared right into the camera. All right, so here we go. We've got the biggest Tom Cruise movie franchise, Mission Impossible. We've got movies, you can see a number here, spanning from 1996 to last weekend, essentially. And of course, as always with these tier maker websites, it looks terrible when I put it in landscape mode, and none of the movies are in order. So let's fix that. Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, Ghost Protocol. So see, this shows at least I know the order that they come out in, right? Like I'm not gonna be talking complete nonsense. So let's talk about Mission Impossible 1 out of 1996. Opening with the hardest movie to discuss, I'd say. This is directed by Brian De Palma. It was let's see, famous director of old movies. One of my favorites of his is Blowout. It's John Travolta. Hears a sound. He's like a sound guy for a movie. I don't know. Brian De Palma movies, they ooze style, right? But I've never seen him direct an action movie outside of, I guess, technically this. And if you're coming into Mission Impossible 1 after watching some of the more recent ones, you're going to note that it's particularly boring and dull. Uh, which is harsh to say, but Mission Impossible 1, it's kind of like you got a conventional heist, right? You got the smart guy, like you got all the members of the team, and in the end, there's of course the big heist with the famous scene where Tom Cruise drops from the ceiling, and we can't discount that. Okay, that's like one of the most replicated moments in cinematic history, next to like the Akira, whatever, bike slide Tatsuo. Uh, so like it's got its moments. It oozes style, but it's particularly boring compared to the rest of them because it's spy, like it's still spy stuff, and you got Brian De Palma. Why are we removing that ad? Let's just, you know what? I'm gonna put Mission Impossible 1 in the B tier. In the B tier. I don't have too much of a desire to rewatch it. It's a good movie, and if you haven't seen it before, and I think it will be a good watch. It's got a great cast. You can see Jean Reno over there. I know that John Voight is famously in the first one. These are all names I'm sure that all of you know. Mission Impossible 2. I love John Woo. John Woo, is director. Yeah, came to America, and he's a fantastic. He directed like Hard Boiled, The Killer, amazing action movies. Uh, Not in America, right? So these are movies that didn't make any money in America, and subtitles nobody cared. So he comes to America. He's trying to make movies for an American audience where American studios will give him money, and he's struggling, man. He makes Broken Arrow, if I remember right. I haven't watched that, and I don't plan on it. He made Mission Impossible 2, and later on uh, he'd make Face Off, which is a masterpiece. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make his masterpiece with Mission Impossible 2. This one, it's full of memes, right? You got Tom Cruise is in full long hair mode. It's whipping around like crazy. Where he's scaling mountains at the beginning. He's got motorcycle chase scenes. Got Thanduli, well, the actress previously known as Thandie Newton is featured in this. It's kind of going for like a kooky James Bond sort of thing. Really, you watch this movie and it's sad because you know that John Woo had more of a vision for where he was going with it, but there's a clear push and pull going on, and the result is definitely the worst Mission Impossible movie that is out there. But I have fun watching Mission Impossible 2. Okay? Am I defending it? No. It's real bad. And you don't need to go back for it. I promise. Mission Impossible 3. Now, a lot of people love Mission Impossible 3. Well, I haven't heard anyone talking about how much they love Mission Impossible 3 since like Rogue Nation came out. But Mission Impossible 3, directed by J.J. Abrams, so it feels like every other J.J. Abrams product produced to me. It's got that J.J. Abrams color scheme sheen to it. It's like almost Matrixy going on. All the characters behave in a Mission Impossible, I mean, in a J.J. Abrams way, and even the ending, uh, the last shot of it, you're almost like, is this the real life or is this just fantasy? As they're all like walking around like, and they're like all holding hands and doing like rocket kicks with smiles on their faces as they walk out of like a hospital or something like that. Uh, the like this one is the clearest one. Like they need to find like the rabbit's foot. It's purely like the MacGuffin. There's like one object where you need to find it, and then like everything's built around it, and it doesn't have to make sense. But at the same time, Philip Seymour Hoffman in Mission Impossible 3 is fantastic. Like he's so villainous. You will be scared of him. And the line, my favorite line in all of these movies, is delivered by Philip Seymour Hoffman in this, and he calls up Ethan Hunt after an event happens, and he just cold opens with, "You threw me off a plane," and it gets me every time, dude. But I don't really like Mission Impossible 2 that much, to be honest. And Mission Impossible 3 that much. I'll put it above Mission Impossible 2. But I'm putting them both in the C tier. I want to leave some space for what Brad Bird hath wrought. Brad Bird is the director of The Iron Giant and then both Mission Impossible movies. I think he also worked on The Simpsons a good bit. So he's got a comedic background. But Brad Bird came in to direct a live action movie. He did The Incredibles, so it's not like he's completely unaware. But like this is a whole different beast. At least we thought it would be. Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol brings the fun, right? We got, I mean, there's you get Simon Pegg in here, right? Bringing Simon Pegg, you're gonna have a much better time than you were having before. And you've got some hilarious action set pieces, and also just they bring in humor. Like the most memorable, of course, being you've got they're in the hallway and they've got the screen up that's supposed to make it look like there's nothing going on, but of course, in movies like this, it's always got to fail a little bit. You got Simon Pegg lifts his head and his face covers the whole screen, and this got the mask switching in here. That's fun. You got you can see there's a whole squad on the screen here. All these, it's just like, hey, look, it's Tom Cruise. So like here, there's a whole team element going on. Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol it's the father of what was to come. That being said, knowing what was to come, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, it didn't walk, it jogged. So Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie could run in later movies. However, I respect, I respect the movie that brought us to where we are, where I could sit in a 3 hour long movie in a movie theater knowing it's a part one and still have a good time. Uh, Now, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Sorry, my cat is climbing across me, breathing on me, going. I'm tempted to put him in front of the camera again. He wouldn't like that. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. I believe this is the first Christopher McQuarrie movie. I apologize. My memory palace isn't perfect. Yeah. So this is where the famed relationship between Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, the director of these remaining three movies and probably every Mission Impossible movie that'll be made until Tom Cruise no longer has the ability to do the Tom Cruise sprint. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. We're also doing well, that was last movie. Let's step it up a bit. We've got that going on here. Fantastic additions to the cast in this one. We've got Rebecca Ferguson being introduced in the best way possible for Rebecca Ferguson. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but you know, you're in the opera scene. You got to have an opera scene in a spy movie, right? There's a fantastic opera scene in this one, and you just see like a gun, and then like a leg, with a dress, and it's quite a visual. And of course, I'm sounding like a man here, but if you've seen the scene, you probably agree with me. Like what a character introduction, right? She's so badass. And I'm glad we got more of her too. I'm glad we got more of her later on as well. But this is also the movie. There's insane underwater breath holding craziness where like Tom Cruise held his breath underwater and it was like the same length as the maximum amount of time that he could hold his breath underwater. It doesn't quite work like that if you're just holding your breath versus if you're like flailing and using all of your might to undo something. Like that. Who cares? Mission Impossible Rogue Nation is where, like I said, Mission Impossible scales up, and this is the one where he's also like hanging on the side of a plane too. I'm talking about action set pieces, but the characters in this are good. The story's great. The villain, Sean Harris. Oh, this Rogue Nation has my favorite villain of all the Mission Impossible movies, for sure, by far. As a full package, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, I think, is the best we've got. I shouldn't have said that. I'm putting in the S tier and I'm moving on. Mission Impossible Fallout. It totally could be better than Rogue Nation. Mission Impossible Fallout is so I see Rogue Nation as like the handoff between Brad Bird and Christopher McQuarrie. Like we still got the humor in the cast of Brad Bird kind of floating into it, but then like McQuarrie's coming in and we got this whole James Bond thing. Mission Impossible Fallout, I feel this is now we're in it's pure McQuarrie. Personally, like the style has changed a little bit. I like he's got this kind of old meets new style. Like some things are shot like it's a 70s spy movie, but it feels like in the modern day. It's really compelling to me how he does it. I know that it's gonna look great and not like other movies I'm watching. So Mission Impossible Fallout, part of that. The stunts in Mission Impossible Fallout, I think, are peak for the series. We've got, I mean, the Halo jump doesn't look as visually. Thankfully, I knew about the background of it, right? Like the Halo jump, it doesn't look the most incredible, but when you know, like it's done for real and how crazy it is, it's pretty cool. You've got Tom Cruise at the end. He's flying a helicopter, like doing loops and stuff, but because he's flying a helicopter and doing loops, nobody else can be on the helicopter. So he's also manning the camera and acting. So the man is flying a helicopter, doing loops, manning a camera, and acting simultaneously. It's incredible. And then, of course, the best part of Mission Impossible Fallout, Henry Cavill in the fight in the bathroom where he cocks his arms like they're like shotguns. You know, like that's one of the greatest moments in cinematic history. And I hope that you agree. I can watch that over and over. I wish that they added a thumps, made you feel even more. I mean, Henry Cavill in that movie, he had the mustache. Famously, Henry Cavill, he had the mustache for Mission Impossible Fallout, but he was also filming Justice League at the same time. And they were like, "Hey, Superman doesn't have a mustache. You gotta shave the mustache." And he was like, "Nah." And that's why they had the CGI removed mustache in that movie, because Sneezy boy. That's why I had the mustache. Because it was for Mission Impossible Fallout, and I think that he was a fantastic actor in this. No villainous Sean Harris getting locked in a box at the end and all that. This is a great movie for action set pieces. I think the story and the characters of Mission Impossible Fallout, however, take a dive compared to Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation, as a film viewer, it's the full package, I think. It's got the characters, the humor, the arcs, and the fantastic villain that you want. The action set pieces do take a step up, but essentially we are now delving into pure spectacle. And is that really that big of a deal? I don't think so. But I have to acknowledge, I think Mission Impossible Fallout is not as good as Rogue Nation. I'm gonna let Rogue Nation sit in the S tier. Just send a statement that I think that it is really the best one. Though I kind of wanted to put Fallout in S tier as well. Now, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Wish I could put it up further so you can see it more, but I'll just put it here for now. I was not going to go in D. This might just be baiting, okay? Maybe this will be in the preview of the video if you hover over it, so putting it in D, that's pretty good. I saw this movie last night, so I'm rather familiar with it. And it is a part one, which is fantastic, right? Because you can be like, it doesn't necessarily entirely stand on its own. Maybe in the context of the second movie, it'll be better. And also, it doesn't have the pressure to resolve everything perfectly, to have the big showdowns and everything. It gets to be a 3 hour long part one. And we've learned that we can trust Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie to deliver a good time, right? The movie is very long, but it's always entertaining. It tries to bring in a bunch of new ideas to the Mission Impossible movies. Like, we've got multiple close quarters fight scenes. There's one in an alley after Tom Cruise has been doing the Tom Cruise sprint for like 5 minutes straight. He gets tricked into a small alley in Venice, and then two metal gates are closed in on him on both sides, and two villains, including one very fun villainous character. You can see her there. She's got some looking like Katana from the first Suicide Squad movie with that face makeup on. She and some guy are in there, and they're fighting in this close quarters hall scene. It doesn't, like, I don't know how you film that, so like it doesn't look as cool as like an old boy fight scene because the camera's like in there too, and it's hard to see kind of what's going on. But there's that one. There's also a fight on top of a train, and like they go into a tunnel, and like they're kind of still fighting in the tunnel, even though there's like 6 inches of space. So it's all cramped and closed in, and that seems unique for them to do. You got got some Tom Cruise stunts, right? Jumping off mountains, pulling parachutes. The key sequence, of course, being, all right. I don't know who came up with the Tom or Christopher McQuarrie, but have you guys seen Inception? Yes, the hallway flipping scene, of course. Have you also seen or probably played, the Uncharted game where you're climbing up the train as it's falling out? Like, yeah. How about we combine the two and we make it so it never ends? And that's near the end of the movie, of course. We got the combination. Uncharted and... Sorry, my... Oh, he's sitting. He's being good. Good. We got the Uncharted. And we've got the Inception all in one. That's a fun action sequence if I've ever seen one. Now, overall, though, compared just simply to Mission Impossible Fallout, the action set pieces of Dead Reckoning, I don't think they stand up to the other ones. The characters and that sort of story, it's please don't puke. Don't make puking noises. The characters and so on, I think they're still compelling enough, but we've definitely deviated from the days, I think, of Brad Bird and stuff like that. Like, you've got Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg in here. They're like, Ving Rhames, everything that he says, he sounds like he's talking like a prophet. Which is, I love Ving Rhames. He can do whatever he wants, but it's not the kind of fun, snappy dialogue that you might hope for. The story. Oh, well, yeah, I'm calling her looking like Katana. Isn't that like Mantis from the Avengers movies? Palm Clementov? Mantis. I don't even remember what happened to that character. But yeah, we got a MacGuffin here in this movie. The cruciform key. It's a very memorable one. It looks cool. It's got that cross imagery and so on, which is fun. The villain in here, I love Sean Harris. He's a man. The villain in this is just some digitally gendered, generated lines on screens going like wall, like an eye, and that's otherwise they're just talking about it, right? It doesn't have the same. I don't know. I'm a man, well, human. I like human versus human, and humans versus humans more than humans versus machine. I feel like they can write in when the communications fail whenever they want, or what it does and the twists and turns. But overall, I wasn't bored at all watching this movie. Right, good action set pieces. I like the addition of Haley Atwell. I don't like that it felt like I was having Haley Atwell replace Rebecca Ferguson because Rebecca Ferguson's tip top. Not just because of the leg in Rogue Nation, but like sure you could tell even in her action choreography, her sword fighting's incredible. You know that like if you ever were to get into a fight with her, like within 2 seconds, she'd have her like legs wrapped around your head and she'd like yeet you 10 feet down a flight of stairs. You'd be like, oh, like Haley Atwell's fun. It was in a movie where it's against AI. It's fun that there's a character whose trickery and sleight of hand can that's what the AI can't expect, and that kind of makes sense, and it's fun that she's added here. Overall, I had a good time watching Dead Reckoning. I'm definitely gonna watch Dead Reckoning Part Two. It's a cool name, too. Dead Reckoning, much better than Retribution, the Liam Neeson movie that I saw advertised before. I'm gonna put it below Ghost Protocol. Uh, even though I'm putting it below Ghost Protocol, that's just because I respect Ghost Protocol for what it did. Even though I don't know, Dead Reckoning, especially in the context of the second movie, will probably be better. But that's okay. This is my opinion. It's all good. So at the top, I put Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I think that's the gold standard Mission Impossible movie, even if it doesn't have the same level of stunts as something like a Mission Impossible Fallout, which I put directly below it. And we've got Ghost Protocol and Dead Reckoning. These, as you can see, these are the most recent ones, right? Like I think that the recent ones are gas. Then we've got the original Mission Impossible movie. I'm putting it in the B tier. Uh, but it's still a good one. It oozes style. It doesn't have near the same action as you'd expect, and it's kind of got that old school heisty vibe that you also probably wouldn't expect. But it's still a good movie, directed well, acted great, looks great. Uh, Good villains in it too. Then in C tier, I've put both Mission Impossible 3 and Mission Impossible 2. I've never been a J.J. Abrams fan, except for the Star Trek reboot, because that came out when I was 12. But I think that this movie is silly. It has a fantastic villain, and not that much else going for it, for me, personally. Philip Seymour Hoffman kills it, and I'm glad that J.J. did not stick around and to continue to make Alias Mission Impossible movies. And then last, we have a movie that I like more than I should, John Woo's Mission Impossible 2. All the flippy hair, the slow motion shots. It's like 2.5 hours long for no reason. It opens with him free soloing on the side of a mountain. I mean, that's a movie, man. But why am I closing out with that? Let's look up here again. All right. Well, these are the rankings of my Mission Impossible movies. If you disagree with me, please tell me, because I'd like to know why. I think I got it about right here, personally. And I hope that you all have a great day. You deserve it, and I'll see you next time.